And we're live. Let me just bring the mic over here. Alrighty. Hello,
hey, guys. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
What is up? Survival Combatants here, back again with the episode 17 of Mortal Monday. And today is a very special episode. This episode will have two of the lore masters of the Mortal Kombat community, one being my longtime co-host, Tabmok99, the lore master of everything Mortal Kombat, may it be the games, movies, comics, trading cards, anything, he's your man. For our other lore master, y'all should know his name as he's one of the biggest Mortal Kombat YouTubers with 300k subs and a commentator for many of Europe's most recent tournaments. He is the one and only history behind the Warrior. Introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you, man. That was a very sweet intro. But hi, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm super thrilled to actually be here because, one, we've been very good friends for a very long time, survived, and I've actually always wanted to do a podcast with Tabmok because I've never really said it publicly, but Tabmok, like, a lot of your stuff's been quite inspirational and actually really good reference points for a lot of my content.
I had no idea. I'm also a big fan of yours, buddy. And, I think that you're such a nice guy. I mean, a lot of the people are afraid to approach some of the bigger YouTubers, but you, Brusque Poet, Snake, all you guys are really wonderful. So thank you so much for being here and doing this with me. I'm really excited to work with both of you guys on this one.
That'll be amazing. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm really looking forward to this one as well, especially with the topics we do have at hand. Because, of course, we'll be talking about the animated series, the future of it, and basically the film in itself. And I think everyone here probably has like very mixed feelings on how it went, but it was quite a fun ride.
I think that's fair. I think some people loved it, some people not so much. But either way, I think it was something that, as Mortal Kombat fans, we had to check it out for ourselves.
I think opinions are definitely going to vary from person to person with expectations, because I feel like at this point, after Mortal Kombat's been out for, 25 plus years now?
Yeah, 26 or 27, right, Tabmok?
Yeah, well, that's going back to 92, so yeah.
So
since it's been around for a lot of years, and it's basically lived the test of time, and because of that, there's always like different ways and interpretations and I guess approaches to how people see the franchise and that are introduced to it, whether that be the old timeline, the new timeline, movies, films, games, comics. It's always going to vary and change, because funny enough, one of my friends, before we quickly jump deep into the review, just to reinforce the point of a different generation, she was asking me as she was watching the film, it's like, where's Ermac? Why didn't Ermac get rid of Jax's arms? And I'm just kind of like, that. I'm pretty sure that's only new timeline exclusive. So it's one of those things where it's just like, there's different generations now, so there's always going to be different interpretations of how it's approached. It's just ultimately, at the end of the day, it's how it's executed, done, and in a way that appeases fans, that doesn't disrespect the source material too bad.
Right, and that's a very good point. It's kind of like that with any work of fiction. I like to compare it to sort of DC, if I can just make an analogy, because some people don't know, people who are fans of the comics, but maybe not like hardcore readers of the comics, maybe didn't know who General Zod was, and their first interpretation of General Zod was from Superman 2, for example. And to them, that is the definitive General Zod, even though he was completely different in the comics, or different in later movies, like in the current timeline of DC movies. So for some people, that, even though they're fans of the comics, it's that DC movie from the 70s that is the General Zod for them. And, going back to Mortal Kombat now, Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge, this could be somebody's introduction into Mortal Kombat. This could be the first Mortal Kombat thing that they check out.
Actually, it is my girlfriend's introduction to Mortal Kombat. She doesn't like fighting games, but when I showed her the beginning of this movie, she was really interested in it, and I was like, dude, by the way, Scorpion's my favorite fucking character. So like, we of course watched it like maybe a week after the movie came out. So like, I don't know. It's pretty. It was pretty nice to watch the movie with her. And don't worry, Tabmok, I got you covered.
Oh, okay, perfect. So I won't mess with it then. So, all right. So now this is very interesting to me because she doesn't know too much about the Mortal Kombat franchise, despite being your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's a really weird story. I started telling her about the different timelines, like how there's like this is not like canon or whatnot. That there's actually like this is just a spin-off. That there's an original timeline. There's the new timeline and all this shit. And I'm just like, you and me need to just sit down and watch like the cutscenes and shit like that, and just load videos, just so you can get everything. And she was like, well, why do you hate Mortal Kombat 11 so much? I was like, I'm not even going to delve into that.
Oh boy, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be a video in itself.
Yeah, I might do it one of these days, just not now. I'm too hyped for fucking what's coming tomorrow and whatnot.
You hate Mortal Kombat 11, and yet you're so hyped for Aftermath. So how much do you hate it, really?
I know what makes a vibe feel better. Hey, remember that time Scorpion had a family, and then he had that adopted kid, Takeda, and didn't mention it as Scorpion now? I remember that.
Yeah, and how he died to fucking the one other person that just seems to be able to kill anybody. HBTheWarrior. Fucking bitch. I hope someone kills her in the new fucking era. Do it.
Alright, so before we get into our review of MK Legends Scorpion's Revenge, I want to know, how many copies of the movie do you guys have?
One so far. I'm trying to get the Best Buy version and the regular Blu-ray version.
Okay, I have like 4 of them, and I know there's a 5th one that's out there. I haven't gotten that 5th one yet.
You're as bad as me with Mortal Kombat X. Jesus, man.
Gotta get them. Gotta catch them all. That's the Mortal Kombat saying, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all.
But for me, it's only 2 digital copies for the time being. The reason why is because it actually came out in the US 5 days before it came out in Europe. So I was able to snag my hands on a digital copy early, and then I was given a free one by Warner Brothers, which was very, very kind of them for them to drop me a free one on iTunes. Unfortunately, it was about a week and a half later. I'm pretty sure it was a week and a half later, but otherwise, still really nice of them. I was able to sit back and enjoy the movie. Although I was working at the time whilst doing that, so I kept kind of procrastinating, pushing it off because I was quite nervous of watching it. But I eventually did get around to watching it, and I actually enjoyed it. Right.
So let me ask you this then: you got it on iTunes, and what was the other platform you got it on?
It will not be discussed because it should not be done by any other person who supports the official release.
Oh, okay.
So definitely not me.
You got
that fucking
combatants. So you got yours on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I got mine and then actually showed it to everybody, but I had to do massive fucking edits to the to the movie to make it viewable on fucking YouTube.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You want to put on it.
But is there like different additions to it? Because like I said, the only thing that I know is just the Best Buy version.
Yeah, well, I like. Okay, so the Blu-ray has way better special features than the DVD.
Okay.
But I don't have a way of playing 4K discs yet. So even though I got the 4K disc, I think the special features are the same as the Blu-ray. I would assume. Not 100% sure though.
I probably can ask my boss, as he has a 4K TV and we're really good friends.
Cool. Yeah. Bring the 4K disc over to him when you get it. You know, if you get the Best Buy pack with the figurine, it will come with the 4K disc. So for sure.
Yeah, because I got the what was it? The Justice League or no, it was the Teen Titans movie. It was at Walmart and it had like a little Blue Beetle figurine. I forget which movie it was. Pretty sure it's I don't think it's the Judas.
Probably the Judas contract.
Was it the Judas contract?
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, that's still relatively newish. I'm quite sure as well.
Yeah, which
well, the DC movies have recently, animated movies have recently wrapped up.
But yeah. So history. I know you definitely did a review on your channel when it first really came out. So just to recap, just basically what's your thoughts on the movie as a whole, as probably everybody at this point should already have watched the movie.
So, for me personally, I like the movie. It definitely has its flaws. So I've kind of titled the animated movie as a very flawed masterpiece, because it does a lot of things well, and it does a lot of things that are out there that haven't been done, which will surprise people and keep people's attentions. But my one gripe with the film is that it's definitely brought down by its runtime.
Yeah.
Because you can tell after it passes the 1 hour mark and the second act low point effectively, they just kind of rush everything. But there were moments in that film that felt, in the film fight sequence wise, that already felt pretty rushed. And then when you get to the climax of the film, you expect, the build up and the payoff to be good, because I know like third acts of films typically are the smallest section of a film, but in this case where you're juggling 4 to 5ish characters, you're jumping from fight to fight and you're cramming it all in 20 minutes, every character isn't really going to get their moment. It's either you rush it or you just stick with one character and you cut out a certain sequence, and that's not what we got, which is understandable and it makes sense because you're trying to juggle all these characters. But what you get is a little bit of a mess and a rush at the end.
It sounds like what we really need to do is push them to release an extended edition. Maybe a Snyder cut of the film, if you will.
Dude, I need to get you on a podcast where you just you could just vent about Raiden, the fucking Snyder cut, just everything.
I don't think I have enough anger in me to survive thinking about the Snyder cut. I don't think I will physically survive. I will combust.
But
it'll be like Pulp Fiction, where the guy gets shot in the back of the car through the head. That will be me talking about it for endless hours. By the 7th hour, I would have transcended humanity to godhood and then died from it. Like, that real. It's that real.
Oh my god. The my basic review of it is that, and mind you, this is coming from a fucking Scorpion main. I've been playing Scorpion since fucking Trilogy. And there's some parts that I don't like about it, mainly Sub-Zero's death and Reptile's death, and yeah,
1 minute 20-second fight. I've actually looked it up.
Dude, because I always felt like it should have been more personal, especially with what we've gotten in the fucking intro. Holy shit!
In a weird way. Here's an interesting question for the pair of you, because obviously you've seen it, and people in chat also feel free to talk about this. Because of how it's done, doesn't it kind of belittle the significance of Bihan's existence?
Yes, because he is like
because he's not guilty, and this is crazy because we had Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. He had his own game, and in that game, you actually do execute Scorpion. Like, you carry it out. You don't just hear about it. You don't just read about it. This Scorpion wants his revenge because he was killed. Blah blah blah. You actually do it. You actually do the deed. So for them to rewrite history and to say, oh, you know what? Actually, it wasn't even him. He was framed. That kind of cheapens his character, and also, I'm gonna have a hard time believing later that he becomes Noob Saibot because he didn't even do anything wrong. The only guy he killed was Kano, which, by the way, also kind of rubs Sonya of her story arc.
Yeah,
it does.
It's like, for me, it was like Scorpion is fucking OP. Like, he is literally the Wi-Fi warrior in that fucking movie where he's just teleporting everywhere. It's
what he is. He's the fan fiction OC character.
Yeah, he is. And and mind you, this is coming from someone who loves Scorpion. Okay, just a side note. Like, I have like almost everything, like basically fucking Scorpion. I have the Mortal Kombat X, or both statues. I have the fucking 11 action figure, the helmet,
sock,
yeah,
red hat.
Yeah, I got everything. The mask, you know, to wear to work. No, I'm kidding. But the
Well, I mean, these days.
well, yeah, I bet I could do it these days. No one can't say shit. But honestly, like for me, like I'm also a Sub-Zero fan, and for that fight, I felt like it should have been more like at least a little bit of talking instead of Scorpion just, by the way, fuck you, I'm going to kill you in a minute and a half. Like, Bihan, you're telling me that Bihan destroyed all these fucking gods, but can't beat Scorpion in about a minute 30. Like, come on, you got to have a...
Working around that is by, like, completely treating it as a different universe, which it is in that sense, but I'm just kind of like, talking helps.
Yeah, it's...
Talking helps.
Like I said, like, the shit that we see in the intro, I would have at least liked a little more, like, you know, just emotional impact with it than just, by the way, you kill this guy in a very short amount of time, great job. Like, the movie leads up to that shit and until the ending, and I wasn't a big fan of the ending either.
Wait, I actually kind of liked the ending.
Huh?
Well, I mean, think about it like this. Liu Kang wins the tournament, right? He is the one who defeats Shang Tsung ultimately. Scorpion gets his revenge on Quan Chi. And, of course, someone else takes out Goro, which is, you know, even though in the games it was always Liu Kang who defeats Goro, it was never that way in the movies. And even when they changed the storyline around, like in MK Shaolin Monks, it wasn't Liu Kang anymore that took out Goro in the first tournament either. It was later on, after the tournament was over with Kung Lao. So Goro's death is always constantly being rewritten. So it wasn't really that important to keep it the same here.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get how Liu Kang is supposed to fucking beat Shao Kahn. Yeah, he can't beat fucking Goro. Like, that's a power tier, like, on a whole nother level.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I get what you're saying. And it's not that Liu Kang can't defeat Goro. It's just that he didn't. Maybe he could have, but we'll never know.
Sure.
Oh yeah, that. Which history? I know you have a theory about that, about Reptile's death. Because I was actually pretty sad about that one. I was really sad about that.
So shall I say it now, or should we save it for later?
Fuck it, say it now. I mean, it's gonna become a topic later, but fuck it, just.
Might as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the simple workaround with Reptile, since he's, you know, well, a reptile, and in nature, a reptile can cut off his tail to get rid of a larger predator than itself, and later regrow said tail. So they could even write that in with the character, bringing back Reptile, depending on how they wish to do it. It's not like death really means much in Mortal Kombat. It's just an idea. It's kind of out there, considering it's a literal decapitation. But that's the only way I can think they can write it in without it resorting to resurrection in any sort of way. Because at this point, I'm pretty sure we're all quite tired of timelines and resurrection. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, and I wouldn't mind if a different member of Reptile's race is in a sequel looking for revenge too. Like, that would be fine.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Give it to Chameleon.
Dude,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
I'd be cool with that.
Because we don't even have anything for Chameleon.
And imagine if none of them were actually named Reptile. Imagine if the first guy that died off was Saijop, and the second one that comes in to get revenge is Komodai. There you go.
Yeah, there's lots of ways you can really work around it. It's just, it's ultimately up to them. It's their creative freedom. I'm just hoping that they do it in a way that we don't expect, but is kind of smart. That's the one.
Hey, somebody said something smart, and guess what? His name was Smartwater. He says you need Reptile for Onaga if they go that far. So there you go. We're talking about how are they going to bring Reptile back without resurrection, but Onaga would actually be a very good way of doing that.
But the question is, do they go that far? And are they going to bother following a similar format or timeline to even what they've created now? Because it's up to them with what they want to do.
they can mix and match and pick.
That's
the
what
best of the
I'm.
best
That's
and
what
make
I'm
their
trying to
own story.
do. That's what I'm trying to do for our future podcast. It's a
Yeah.
hard son of a bitch to try to think of. I'm just saying, try to mix the two timelines together where it actually makes sense and is really good. That is a hard son of a bitch to overcome.
Yeah, because you're rewriting the events of an entire game for the most part, and setting up other stories for later games.
Yeah, that it is a hard son of a bitch to do.
So let me ask you a question, survived combatants. If I throw in a picture up in the chat, are you able to display it on the channel?
Yeah, of course. It might take us a
sweet.
couple seconds for it to show up on the actual live stream, but there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, take your time.
All right, we're good. Where's the picture going to be at?
It's in the chat.
YouTube.
Yes.
Alrighty.
we're
Dude,
having a
that is
discussion.
cool. Okay, yeah.
So we were having a discussion earlier about whether it's reptile or not, and they never actually say their names in the actual movie, which is one of those things that drives me nuts. They never say it's reptile. They never say it's Baraka. The fans are just sort of left to kind of figure these things out. But in the special features, they do confirm at Baraka at least, and that's what I shared with you here. So if you need a minute to bring it up on the screen,
I got it.
okay. Awesome.
But Baraka's death is also a pretty fucking weird one. That Johnny Cage was able, Mortal Kombat 9 had happened. I mean, not his death, but fucking Johnny Cage totally whooped Baraka's ass.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. It's just that it's one of those things in a movie like Mortal Kombat,
you can't expect
I know
every
everyone
character
has their favorite. Yeah, you can't expect the character you want on the bad side to probably not die, because they're more than likely going to die.
That's the point. It's good beats evil. That's the way these things go. Come on.
Now, speaking of the movies and shit like that, so how of course the studio that made this movie basically made the Justice League movies, Teen Titan movies, all that, the Batman ones. What are your all's thoughts on the DC animated movies? Because the last one that I've seen was the Batman and Ninja Turtles one, and it is I cannot stress this enough, one of the best medias of Ninja Turtles I've ever seen. It's really
well done,
good.
aren't they?
Yeah, it is really good, especially with what Nickelodeon what Warner Brothers was allowed to do with the Ninja Turtles. Shredder straight up kills somebody, on screen. Throws a shuriken to a Foot Ninja's head. I'm like, dude, sweet, I want more of this. And of course there's blood in it, and I'm like, all right, this can be Ninja Turtles classic type shit. So what do you think what's your all's opinion on just Warner Brothers and the DC animated studios working on Mortal Kombat? Do you think it should have been any other studio or anything like that, if you know what I mean?
That's a hard one. So, personally, I think Warner has done a great job with revitalizing DC animated movies. Not that they were ever really dead at any point, because the DC animated movies have always been held up to high acclaim, but ever since they've been under the Warner banner and started off their universe with Justice League War, it's been pretty good. A lot of the movies that they have pumped out have consistently been good, up until the most recent one, which effectively is what happens when you get caught, your shoe or your clothing gets caught on the back of an SUV and you get dragged down a road for about 50 miles and the skin's off your back and then your face is gone. That's what the last one did. But every movie basically up to that point was exceptionally well done. In terms of animation, voice acting, even storylines, it was really, really well done. You know, they handled a lot of the source material in a respectful way, with enough of a fun twist and spin that it was refreshing and good enough to approach. Like, even the most a good example of that recently is Superman Red Son. Superman Red Son isn't a page-for-page redone version of the original graphic novel, but there's enough changes and spins there that it's refreshing to watch, even if you read the original source material. Like, it is genuinely very good. I do encourage people to go out their way to watch it. I do think it's very entertaining, but I'm hoping that the Mortal Kombat series is given the treatment of how the main DC's movies have been up until the most recent one.
So the most recent one being Apocalypse War, right? Justice League Dark.
Yeah, it is an animated movie that revels in the idea of its own sadism. It for the most part, it disrespects almost every single character it's established over the 10 years for the excuse of shock factor and because it's the finale. And it resets the universe in the same way it started from the very beginning. So we are basically oh my god, I just realized it's the MK11 ending of we are restarting the timeline again.
Right. And it's funny.
God.
It's funny because when MK11 first came out with Kronika and was using her to reset the timeline, immediately I think of the DC comics and the whole. It's a crisis. There's kind of the generic term they use every time they want to reset continuity.
Yeah, it's actually what they're planning on doing. I believe next year. They are retiring some of the Golden Age heroes. I'm pretty sure they're retiring Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent, and they're having Clark's role being taken over by his son, who has aged significantly from a time jump, and they're having Lucius Fox's son take over as Batman, which is a questionable decision, but whatever, I suppose. The Crisis events have always been really big things, and I know the Dark Apocalypse War was one that many have looked forward to, but I don't think anyone are looking at it properly with a proper eye for what made the other one special and the fundamental problem with this one. But I'm hoping Mortal Kombat is treated with the respect that
Mortal
the
Kombat
very
1,
beginning.
like
it's
the
not even
movie.
Mortal Kombat 1. Like, if they want to have their own spin and approach of it, perfectly fine. Just make sure that you're respecting the source material. I've always said this with like reboots and films. What is the reboot of the original franchise? What is it doing that we haven't seen that's expanded on it and help us benefit it, that also pays homage whilst adding new things we haven't learned and it being fresh and new, basically? No one wants to see the same movie twice redone. Like, you don't want to see, like, I think a big problem with it, the film like Halloween and the reboot of it by Rob Zombie, was that a lot of it was done, there's a lot of stuff there that's a little bit too similar to that of the original, and there's a lot of new stuff that they added that people didn't particularly enjoy.
I hated
It's
almost
like,
everything about it.
yeah, that's what I mean by what are you adding to that of the original that helps improve or expand on it? Like, what makes it different? And I feel like Rob Zombie's Halloween is the perfect example of it not really working out. I know some people do like it. I'm personally not a fan of it, but it's different approaches. It's interesting to see all these different perspectives on how people kind of approach and interpret film.
So, what do you think? How do you think they did in terms of having Goro rip off Jax's arms? Do you think that was staying, obviously deviating from the source material, but do you think that was done respectfully?
It makes more sense.
Well, you know what? I'm okay with it for the sole reason that I'm pretty sure we all agree at this point. Jax is never destined to have.
Yeah,
arms.
no, he's done.
So, in every timeline, they are just gone. So I'm glad that it happened, but I'm kind of glad that it was done by Goro in the sense that it kind of set up Goro as this incredible threat for the film. You know, like
yeah, like you have to get through me, or you can challenge this person.
Like the perfect example is the first live-action Mortal Kombat movie where you see Goro beat up Art. Like, he just beats him to smithereens, and then pretty much sets the tone for the rest of the tournament that he is a formidable force to go up against. I think that's really good.
Like I like it because I seriously don't get how in the new timeline Raiden doesn't see fucking Jax's arm. Oh wait, no, because in the original timeline he willingly. But like still, it's to me the like how it is done in the movie. It's more the fact that like Jax is, of course, he's captured, by Shang Tsung, so Sonya can join the tournament and whatnot, and it's done in a way where it shows more humanity into Sonya, as a lot of people know that I could really care less for Sonya at this point in time, but watching that, I kind of felt bad for both Jax and Sonya, even though I don't particularly like those characters anymore. So like I feel like it was kind of it was a good thing to add in.
Mm-hmm.
What's your?
No, it's definitely a really good thing to have. Really, it is.
But so like we've talked about the DC anime movies. So what do you all think is the future of Mortal Kombat animated movies? Like, so how in DC's animated movies, like, we have different series of it. So we have Justice League, we have Teen Titans, we have the Batman movies, but they all have a storyline that kind of connects together, except for like stuff like Red Sun and stuff like that, and the Ninja Turtles and Batman, but they all kind of have a continuing timeline. So what do you think will be the future of Mortal Kombat animated movies? And it'll probably go into the next point of spin-offs as well, but that's fine.
Yeah, I would. First of all, I definitely want to see them continue this franchise. Somebody in the chat asked earlier if they think the sequel will focus on Scorpion or on a different character. And I think, of course, you've got to go with a different character next time.
Yeah.
But there's so many different directions they could go with it. Like, if you were talking about Sonya and Jax, and even though if you're not fans of those particular characters anymore, I think their storyline kind of pulled you in anyway. It would be great to see kind of like a Black Dragon thing or a Special Forces thing where we see what were Sonya, Kano, Jax, and all of them doing that led to this tournament. In fact, it seemed like there was a bigger story that they wanted to tell that they just cut for time. You could tell, for example, that Sonya was talking to some mysterious person, and she's like, "You better not be lying to me." Who was that guy?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
For 5 seconds. There's more that they wanted to show us, and I'm sure that a sequel, or rather a prequel maybe, would actually give them a chance to explore that.
That is a good point. Like, my idea for a sequel, and I think this could work really well for the most part, is have the next one pick up where this one's kind of left off. And I know it's pretty generic and simple to say this. Have it focus on Sub-Zero, him being entered into Outworld's second tournament,
so
with the Cyber Initiative going on
Kuai Liang,
at the same time.
you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kuai Liang. So you have the Cyber Initiative going on, and him being forced into a position where, does he stick by his friend's side, or does he turn against what the house that basically raised him? Because he knows his rights and differences with morals, and there are people within the Linkway that have always been very outspoken when it's come to the Cyber Initiative. So have that go on whilst he's in the middle of the tournament as well. I feel that would be a great way of being able to introduce characters like Smoke, Cyrax, Sector, and you get to see the fall of the Linkway, but as it gets cyberized and Sector rising through the ranks. It's a good way of getting in some fan service for Linkway fans, especially with how Sub-Zero was handled in this film, or the first film. But yeah, that's my general gist for like a secondary movie for the most part, because although like the whole Sub-Zero and Scorpion feud doesn't really work because Scorpion's kind of dead by the end of the first film, I'm just kind of like, we might as well give it to Sub-Zero, because like he has the time to pick up the role, you know, the Cyber Initiative has always been a really, really big thing in the Mortal Kombat universe. And it has a lot of the fan favorites within that clan alone. So you could pander to fans and still tell the story. Just do it in such a way that's different.
You know, I think that's a great idea. I would like to see them focus on Sub-Zero and the Lin Kuei and everything that's going on there. I hope that it would be a longer movie this time, because the other side of that, if you really want to explore what's going on with Kuai Liang, is part of his mission is he wants to know what happened to his brother. And would they show Noob Saibot in the Netherrealm? You know, he could basically end up at the same place that Scorpion was when he started out in the Netherrealm, you know, being tortured.
We could even have him learn from Sector about the whole ordeal itself. That's another way of doing it.
Do you think that, unlike Scorpion or Hanzo in the Netherrealm, that Bi-Han would fail?
Well, you know what? I think he would have a different torturer, whereas the first time the guy that tortured him was Scorpion, was Moloch.
Yeah, Moloch.
The logical choice to torture Noob Saibot would then be Draman, right? His partner in crime, who, according to the game's lore... Yeah,
dude, that is
the game's lore. Draman actually has the rank of Oni Tormentor, so it would make sense for Bi-Han Soul arrives in the Netherrealm. He's going to turn into Noob, but before that happens, he's being tortured by Draman. So they have a lot of cool stuff they could show there. They could get deeper into the whole Quan Chi Shinnok thing, which they hinted at in the first movie. There's a lot that they can kind of play with here.
No, I agree with that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that, but I'm not sure if I'm entirely going to hold out for Noob Saibot, considering how quick that Bi-Han was killed in between like the events of him dying and then Quan getting back to Shang Tsung's throne room. So I'm not really holding out for Bi-Han. It would be a real shame to miss out on the character, but I don't know how they'd bring him back by normal means, unless it was like Shang Tsung that brought him back. But I don't know. We'll have to see.
And I want to know, what I really want to know is how did Shang Tsung, of all people, end up with Shinnok's amulet?
That is a weird thing.
That's a very dangerous thing for it. No, that's just super dangerous. Like, I don't know why Shao would give it to Shang Tsung, knowing his treacherous nature. And
was that Shao Kahn's decision, though?
Yeah, or maybe he just found it for safekeeping. I don't know. A lot of questions.
Made another one, really? Just like Quan Chi. So it's a fake one.
You never know.
But what was it? Like, for me, I would like for this to basically tell what the video games can't. Like, this will go more into the spin-off thing, but I would like to see a Mortal Kombat Legends Shao Kahn, where we see like Shao Kahn. Now, of course, this is going to be a total fucking evil side of the Mortal Kombat storyline, but it'll be a fresh breath air because, you know, Mortal Kombat...
It's a fundamental and important point of the universe, so I'd be completely down to see it.
If we had a Mortal Kombat Legends Shao Kahn, we could see how he was able to poison Onaga, of course, and then with just the brute fucking force take over like Edenia and everything. And then at that point, we would see the Great Kung Lao, Goro, Shang Tsung in their youth.
They'd have a chance to tell the Sindel story now, wouldn't they?
Yeah, actually right this time. Someone was talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
it's going to be a future video. I just don't know when. But we like, you can have one of those. I would like to also think of a story like just basically how do I say this? Just basically stuff that we don't really know of. Just like anything that you could think of that hasn't been told much. Like basically Natara, maybe, because we've seen her. Like that would be a fucking awesome movie to base on someone. I feel like
just imagine a story about Shao Kahn and maybe strategizing with his generals like Rico or maybe Kentaro or whoever. just imagine him strategizing, figuring out all these different realms that he wants to conquer. He's like, I want to get Edenia, I want to get the Kaitin realm, I want to get the vampire realm, Viternus, I want to get Zatera.
Yeah, like that'd be awesome to see.
like, I'll get all these realms. The question is, what order should we do it in, guys?
No, that stuff would be really interesting because, like, it's one of the biggest aspects of the universe, but it's one that we've never actually seen in motion properly. At the most I think we've ever actually seen it was in that online, Mortal Kombat web series, Mortal Kombat Legacy, and it was extremely brief with the Kitana and Melina episode. Like, you only saw it for 4 minutes, and even then, it's like everything was really dark. You didn't really see anything because it was so dark how it was filmed and lit. So it would be something I'd be very interested to see. It's like it's a gold mine that they're sitting on, but it's up to them if they wish to actually like unravel that hand of cards.
To me, you know, you can't fit everything in a video game. Like, you have to tell a story like a video game, like how the way you want to, because of course you have NPCs, you have you know, length and shit like that. But for a movie, I feel like it's more like it's more like comics, to where if they have a thing going, you can basically tell the shit that you weren't able to you know, go full force on, like with a video game. Because of course, fighting games, you fight, you know, that's basically what you do. But in movies, you can have conversation, you can have, you know, 30 minutes of like talking and whatnot without an action sequence, and it would still be good. Like, it's just like, you know, why we can't compare movies to video games and shit like that, because they're both very different mediums. Like, what are some spin-offs? Just like my Mortal Kombat Legends Shao Kahn's. Of course, you guys said, you know, Mortal Kombat Legends Kuai Liang Sub-Zero. But what are some other legends you would like to see? Or would you like to, like, for it to have this be like the Mortal Kombat 1, where it's just Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpions, and after that it's just like, you know, subtitles? Or would you want it still to
honestly,
be Legends?
I would love to have them like kind of beat around the bush with a bunch of prequels before they even get to part 2.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that. I'd love that. I mean, Shang Tsung would be really interesting because, as we all know, he used to reside with Earthrealm until he switched sides. I mean, that would be really fucking cool to see.
See, we could do Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn in the same movie. We could show a movie about Shao Kahn picking up realm after realm after realm, and finally he sets his sights on Earth, and Shang Tsung messes up his streak.
Yeah.
One that I would genuinely love to see is one that focuses on the very early days of Raiden. So just after, because we got a little bit of a tease at the very beginning as well, where we actually did see some of the Elder Gods.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, why not go to the very dawn of time, just post creation of the realms, with the one being now defeated. That kind of explains the ordeals of how gods are assigned to each different realm. What was the fallout with Shinnok and the Elder Gods, and how is that all dealt with, and what races suffered from the conflict that ensued from the battle amongst the gods, effectively. You know, I feel like that's a really interesting bit of information that we actually have never seen properly. We've always heard of it, but we've never seen. You know,
we've heard whispers of it. We've heard rumors of it, but they've never actually shown us the specifics and the nitty gritty. And that would be a fun thing to actually watch it unfold on the screen.
Yeah, it would be a really great opportunity to just tap into something that we've always heard of but never seen officially. I feel like that would be a really, really good one to see. And it would actually give Raiden some spotlight instead of being
an idiot.
The somewhat generic. No, the idiot. But the thing is, like, in Legends, he's like a walking fortune cookie. So I'm just kind of like, this is the time to give him more personality. Plus, you could even show off some of the elemental gods that I say elemental gods. Some of the elementals that existed in mythologies. You could have Fujin pop up there as well. It would be a good opportunity just to show off a bunch of gods we've never seen before. I mean, I'm fairly sure we don't have we've never had an official picture of Lucifer from the Mortal Kombat universe. I'm pretty sure
true.
we've ever been talked about. So again, it's like there's all these ideas that they can really work with, but yeah, we have to wait and see. But that's definitely one I would really, really like to see be done.
Yeah, there's so many events that have happened in Mortal Kombat's past. Like you mentioned, the battle with the gods affecting life on Earth and probably other realms, and Shinnok defeating Lucifer and overthrowing him, and Shang Tsung defeating Kung Lao. The question is, how can they take all these past events and arrange them in a way that would be entertaining to watch and tell the cohesive narrative?
Yeah.
But I think they've got talented writers here. I think from what we've seen so far, they can do it. I think they should give themselves a little bit more running time so that they don't force themselves to cram that second half or that third act so much, and just kind of let the story breathe a little bit and let it feel natural. And I think really, instead of going for a specific running time, just kind of tell the story they want to tell and let the chips fall where they may. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a good shout, actually. That's a really, really good shout. But yeah, I don't feel like I'd want any other spin-off and movies in mind, because I'm pretty sure we've talked about a lot of the really interesting ones.
Yeah. So, wait, actually, what would be some movies that you all don't want to see? Just to throw it out there. I as a Scorpion main, I do not want to see another movie that's main focus. Even though it's not really main focus as Scorpion, it's still, primarily Scorpion.
Right, Scorpion had his chance to shine, I think.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. We have so many different mediums where he's the main character. So I feel like he's definitely had his time in the limelight. It's time to step aside a little bit.
I guess I wouldn't want to see a Mortal Kombat Legends Ferrator.
Yeah,
that might not be the most entertaining movie to watch.
I don't know what character I really wouldn't want to see. I suppose because the characters have never interested me, I wouldn't be interested to see much about the early days of Sonya Blade, Jax, and the whole Kano dynamic with Sonya's previous partner, because I feel like
the SF.
It's already been resolved, for one.
Mortal Kombat
and
Legends,
two,
Special Forces. I think someone said
when you
that.
have when you have the Mortal Kombat universe with gods, monsters, and ninjas, and then you compare Special Forces with reality, I'm kind of playing video games to escape reality, so they're kind of mundane in comparison.
Speaking of Special Forces and everything they bring to the table, what did you think about the fact that in the movie, Sonya was talking about her weapons and Raiden's I'm sure those are very powerful weapons on Earth, but you're not on Earth anymore. And then next thing you know, the Black Dragon comes with Earth weapons like guns. Woohoo!
Yeah. I don't even know what to say of that. I'm just kind of you guys just should have read the fine print and realized. To be fair, we say that all of those guys were jobbers and they got wasted in 5 seconds. Wait, absolute pace.
Yeah, Raiden's see, I told you those weapons wouldn't work.
But yeah, that's all I think about it.
I definitely don't want to see any movies of just basically everybody retelling the fucking story of Mortal Kombat 1. I'm already iffy on the story of Mortal Kombat 2 being retold once again. Because we've already seen it, let's see, Mortal Kombat 2, Shaolin Monks, Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat 11. So yeah, about 4 times. So
yeah, don't forget the movies.
True. Yeah, so about 5 times. So I want the movies to go more in depth of what is it? Well,
maybe Shao Kahn's invasion of Earth, and then Shinnok's invasion, and then Onaga's invasion.
Yeah. That's some stuff I would like to see. It's more I don't know. And here's another problem that I don't want them to do is just start killing off characters just because they can. that was my main fear about an actual live action movie, is just, hey, by the way, we have this medium, let's kill as many fucking characters as we can because it's Mortal Kombat. And
well, I mean, hey, it's a fight to the death. Someone's got to die.
Oh, I don't mean that. I just mean
the medium.
I just mean like, yeah, this is all about blood, gore, and violence. Let's just do only that. Like, at least with Legends, there was actual, like, you know, plot pieces and stuff like that. You know, I
really loved Sub-Zero's 1 minute 20 plot piece. That was the best part.
Like, seeing, who is it? Johnny Cage, like, go from the fucking, you know, from the guy who doesn't know anything to the guy that loves cock and ball torture. You know, it's pretty nice to just see him actually, like, be more mature about, you know, oh yeah, by the way, this is pretty serious, like you know, there's actual gods and whatnot, and there's people that can actually kill me. And then with Sonya, of course, thank God they've already killed him off in the fucking beginning, like they should have done in Mortal Kombat X. Killing off Kano, thank God. I mean, dude's basically as useless as, I don't know, snow shovel in fucking summer. Like, he's not that useful of a character after you grab weapons from him.
I don't know though. He had his chance to shine, and even if you grab weapons from him, he's still got his eye laser. Like, I think Kano's pretty badass in this movie, even though ultimately, yeah, he has to die, right?
Yeah. Would you guys actually like a two separate movies of a Mortal Kombat Legends Bi-Han and a Mortal Kombat Legends Kuai Liang, of Bi-Han going through, so say they make an extended cut for Scorpion's Revenge, where they actually fix everything, you know, even fix the backwards Mortal Kombat logos, as Tabmok pointed out. So would you guys like it if they did the extended cut of Scorpion's Revenge, where they give Sub-Zero or Bi-Han that extra time, you know, to shine a bit?
I don't know if extra time will fix the fact that he's ultimately innocent and not the one that killed Scorpion's family or Scorpion or had anything to do with this. Like, he was just totally framed. I don't know what they can do to
I meant,
kind of make that work.
I meant more of the mythologies kind of thing, like for Bi-Han, like because it's a really, like, of course, us Mortal Kombat, you know, fans, we, you know, the three of us knows, you know, what happens in mythologies. But for people like my girlfriend and probably people that are a fan of the Mortal Kombat 9 era and X era, they probably don't know all too much. They've probably heard of it, but don't know, like, the extent of how important you know, mythologies really is to the lore. To have that in video form, where it's kind of easy and digestible for, like, you know, newcomers, I feel like that would be really good for Bi-Han as, like, a character development, because, like, in the new timeline, all he gets is a little bit of time killed and then Noob Saibot. That's basically all Bi-Han gets in the new timeline. Like, just to give Bi-Han a little bit more love with a Mortal Kombat Legends Bi-Han for mythologies. And then we can, of course, that'll be the prequel. Then we get Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion. And then we get Mortal Kombat Legends Kuai Liang, where it kind of continues that story, if you know what I mean.
Right. Well, I think if you're going to give those guys their own movies, especially two of them, you really got to balance that out with a lot of the other stuff that we mentioned earlier. You know, Quan Chi and Shinnok's angle, the Cyber Initiative angle with Cyrax and Sector. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other events that kind of tie into both of those characters. So you really want to concentrate on that. And who knows? Maybe Sonya and Jax could have their own little story arcs thrown in there. in both of those movies to kind of balance it out a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, like it's almost an infinite possibility of what they can do for like the animated series, because the Mortal Kombat, what people don't understand is how big Mortal Kombat is when it comes to lore. Like, I know a lot of shit about the lore, but like it's a lot. You know what both, you know, you and history, of course, know is like it's far more than I'm even capable of fucking knowing. And I've been a fan for God knows how long, probably 17 and a half, 18 and a half years. So like I feel like for lore nuts, it would be it would give them, like, you know, the satisfaction of, hey, they actually reference this and this and this. You know, I feel like this should be a time where the people at the DC animated you know, place can actually do right with the Mortal Kombat movie instead of what I'm reading about the actual Mortal Kombat movie. We will still watch that for Immortal Monday. I promise that.
You know, reserve judgment on that till it comes out.
Oh,
you can read a lot of crazy stuff on the internet, but who knows if any of that's true.
I will. We're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna try to find a way. Like history said, you know, we won't discuss about it. We will. I mean, I'll find a way. Just it probably won't be now. But King Jared is the Kenny of Mortal Kombat. Jesus Christ.
I still think Johnny Cage is the Kenny of Mortal Kombat. I think that Johnny Cage has probably been killed off more times than any other character.
Oh my god, dude. That is fucking funny. But yeah, so like what, so since we're kind of like, you know, done with the you know, main part of it, what are some like things that y'all want to talk about? It doesn't even have to pertain to like the anime movies, just like Mortal Kombat, like in general, just shit you would like to see as like a fan. Of course, we've been kind of stale on content for a while. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's been a year since the Combat Pack trailer. It's been a year since, you know, or how many months has it been since Spawn? Like 3-4 months now.
Came out in early April or late March. I'm quite sure.
Did he?
I think it was either that or February. I think it was February.
Let me see.
Over that March.
These Mortal Kombat.
So I'm quite sure it came out like the
March
28th.
17th.
There you go.
And then he came out for 24th for everybody else. But like, other than that, it's kind of been like, you know, a little bit stale. So
It's been quiet.
So like with Aftermath coming out, of course the new characters coming out, and I think they're doing it right now, Shiva and RoboCop.
Yep.
And also bringing one of my most requested fucking costumes of all time. God damn it, they were actually bringing the fucking Sub-Zero Deception.
Shredder Sub-Zero?
Yeah, dude, you don't know how much I love that fucking skin. I even made it as the skin of my Mortal Kombat versus Doomslayer, you know, fucking picture. I had more.
Oh yeah, every time I see him, all I can think of is, tonight I dine on turtle soup.
There's a lot of connections with Mortal Kombat and fucking Ninja Turtles that I don't think people realize.
Oh yeah,
it's really weird.
Dude, interdimensional portals. Like, Ninja Turtles was the first cartoon or anything I ever saw.
I think the movie Turtles Forever like really encapsulate on that idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like with all the content and shit, like, what's your all's thoughts on it?
Honestly, now that you mentioned Turtles Forever, I want to see a Mortal Kombat version of that. I want to see, like, you know, Dan Pesina and Ho-Sun Pak interacting with the Defenders of the Realm versions of themselves, and them interacting with, like, the video game versions, and all of them have to team up to stop some new threat that's trying to destroy all of the different Mortal Kombat offshoot universes. You know, get in your combat jets and get ready, you know? It's combat time!
Oh, yeah, I'm always intrigued to see what the future will bring. I don't know what I'd want specifically. It's just, with me, I don't like always throwing out the hat and predictions, because I like being surprised. So I'm hoping that the future is one that's somewhat uncertain, but something that's very beneficial. It's like, a part of me is really, really hoping that Aftermath story will actually be where Shang Tsung wins. Because then we have an uncertain but yet very open and intriguing ending. We don't know what will happen if we have someone that sinister behind the steering wheel. Whereas we can get a rough gist and idea of what happens once you get Liu Kang behind it. Because it's very cliche in that sense, but once you put someone like Shang Tsung behind it, you know, and someone who has killed Liu Kang, and may do so again, it could create a very intriguing future that we don't know. Especially when we have deities as powerful as Titans, who will more than likely challenge his position of power as well.
You know, I really think that the Aftermath is perfect for the lore buffs. You know, people like us here on the stream, all of us three. We love the Mortal Kombat lore, and to have a different take on MK11, to have an extra 5 chapters and see what else they're going to do with it, what the possibilities are, that's going to be great. You know, programmer just said, what if we get a 3rd story pack? Like, could you imagine if there was even more after the Aftermath, if they did some more extra story chapters? Like, when will this end? This is the first Mortal Kombat game, by the way, that's ever done like an extension of the story mode. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
This is the first. So I don't know what to expect from what happens with Aftermath. I'm all up for more story DLC. I want to know where the story kind of goes. I know Ed's kind of said that this is the conclusion to Mortal Kombat 11's story, but you know, I want to see it for myself to believe it, and I want to see where we go from that point. Because like we have the idea of having cosmic deities that can warp and alter reality means anything is possible. So I want to see what freedom it gives them.
Yeah, and I always thought that ever since they introduced Kronika, and you know, the implications are truly that yes, well then anything is possible. I was a little surprised that her crown is such an important item to have. Like, I always thought Shinnok's amulet was this all-powerful thing, and now they've got the hourglass, which I think is actually even more so. And then, you know, the crown. I guess the hourglass doesn't fully operate without the crown. I'm not sure how it all ties together, but I'm really intrigued to see what they've got for us.
So as far as I'm aware, the crown basically works as a times whatever number tool on someone. So in normal situation, Jackie would probably not be able to touch her hair on Cetrion's head. But in the instance of that chapter, she was able to do in some damage. It's either that or Jax. I'm pretty sure you get to pick. But
Yeah.
in that sense, it basically magnifies the power and damage that they exude, which is why I say it interests me at the very end, because we see Shang Tsung wielding the hourglass with the crown. So, and it's young Shang Tsung as well. It's not old man Shang. So that's why I'm just kind of like, this is interesting. This could lead to something that we're all not expecting.
Well, and if you notice, Kronika said, without the crown, there can be no new era. So it is important for her somehow to be able to do what she does.
Yeah, no, it really is something. I'm just, my fingers are crossed, man. My fingers are crossed.
Yeah, now Programmer Video Games is throwing out some stuff like, you know, there's Kronika's crown, there's Shinnok's amulet, there's the Kami Dogu. It's like, yeah, I need to have all these things. That way I can be at maximum power. You know, throw those things in there with the Infinity Stones and one gauntlet. I'm good.
It's like
Oh,
for me, it's always the it like the reason why I love coming back to Mortal Kombat. Like, I mean, everybody knows, I do, Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, and Resident Evil, which Mortal Kombat has always been the main thing. And the reason why I love Mortal Kombat so much is more of like the community and shit like that. Like the amount of Mortal Kombat content creators really outweighs the Resident Evil content creators and the Ninja Turtles content creators. I feel it's more. How do I say this? I feel it's more. I can bring people in to talk about stuff like this, about the animated movies, and mind you, we have, as Mortal Kombat fans, we have so much, that other fandoms don't have. We do have that legacy of the video games, of the comic books, the movies, both live action and animated, and actually one of the live action movies being fucking good, and we have web series, and we have like all this shit. So like it always seems like there's something new with Mortal Kombat every 2 to 4 years, where it just excites you. Like when the hype for Mortal Kombat 11 was happening, my favorite trailers, one of them was fucking Noob Saibot. I mean, that fatality, like I just, I love that. I love that fatality so much. And
with Noob Saibot, his shadow clone.
Yeah, where he goes through the mouth like that. That was one of the things that I wanted to see a Noob Saibot do. I never thought we would. And then like there's so many diverse people in the Mortal Kombat community, if you really think about it. Like you got your lore masters, then you got your tournament players, you got your casuals, you got people that like to discuss and stuff like that, like me. It's really, really amazing that we have a community like this. Like, I know everybody likes to say on Twitter, like, oh, Mortal Kombat has the most fucking toxic community. And I'm like, that's not what I see. I mean, yeah, I see it sometimes, but still, like...
Well, if that's what they focus on, I think some people go out of their way to look for that stuff.
Yeah. But, just to emphasize on it, like history. You just did a podcast. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago with the Realmcast? I believe it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know who those guys were, and now I actually want to really meet them.
No, they're very, very nice, kind gentlemen. Very, very kind, nice gentlemen. I definitely say reach out to them, give them a watch if you can, guys, if you've never heard of them. But they're a fun bunch, and I highly respect them. I actually will be on their podcast again later this week, funny enough. Talking about Aftermath 2, so it'll be an interesting one.
And
hey, that's awesome.
Here's their link in the description. But like it's amazing, like how good the community has been. Like I don't think anybody but you and me knows this history, but like we've said before, this is actually today the 1 year of like the of Combo Breaker. I think today was the final day for it. Let me see if I can.
I'm fairly sure it is.
Let me see if I can find the picture of it. There we go. There we go. And this picture is the one picture I will never remove from my header, just for the fact that it's what, unless there's an actual better one, like, where it's, me, Tab, Fatal Cade, history, like everybody. But it's, is it this one?
Where are you putting these links?
Oh, I'm putting it up on the whatchamajigger.
YouTube?
No, the there we go.
Oh, yes, on the stream. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I still have the filter on the behind it. But yeah, there
you go. I saw Ed Boon.
Yeah, there we go. Like, if everybody doesn't know who everybody is, I'll start from the left to the right. Of course, the left is on left bottom is Brusque Poet, and then we got Blind Vigilante, random guy that I do not know. I really want to find out who that guy is because that's actually a pretty hilarious photo bomb. Then we have Ed Boon, True Underdog Games, me, Ulterior Games, and then of course History Behind the Warrior. And
yeah,
it was
all with the combo breaker shirts.
Yeah.
Totally sweet,
dude.
Yeah.
Actually, we had combo breaker shirts that we weren't allowed to wear. Or wait, yeah, no, that wasn't the shirt. I think I still have that shirt at my old place, and if I ever get my actual own house, that fucking shirt will be framed because God, is it such an awesome shirt. I wore it on my first date because it was a Guns N' Roses shirt. It's so awesome. But the like, I think this moment was the moment where I realized like how good the fucking community is and how vast it is. Like, we have people from, of course, Brusque is from California. History, you're all the way from the fucking UK. Ulterior is from, Chicago, or he's not from Chicago, but he's around that area. I'm just a fucking, basically a country boy in Kentucky. Like, it's really amazing that how, we've all, know each other, how we're able to, talk and shit like this. And I think it's even more special with, of course, the coronavirus, happening and whatnot. So like, of course, History, you have tournaments that you commentate now, and and how's actually that been going?
It's been nothing short of incredible. I'm basically part of Europe's 4-man pro league team now when it comes to commentary. I have been able to make the jump from content creator to basically full-time commentator for the most part as well. So it's a dual job. Both are freelance
and tournament winner. Let's not forget that.
It's a one-time thing, but I'm still gonna hold that because that tournament, that trophy is beautiful. But I now commentate for the pro league. I know Caboose did it a while back for Injustice 2. I don't think he does it for Mortal Kombat 11 right now. I know he did one with Destroyer a few weeks back. But since then, I am part of the Pro League team in Europe. I've been able to do Ultimate Fighting Arena, 3 online Intercontinental Cups, as well as the finals. And then there's this year, where I did Lockdown Throwdown. I commentate for the Belong Arena Clash series, which is held by basically the equivalent of GameStop in the UK. We've been running some online tournaments. We have Season 3 coming up, so that will be another thing that goes on. But of course, with the whole COVID-19 situation, we don't exactly know what's happening with a lot of the tournaments that are going, because even KIT was cancelled today. Combo Breaker, of course, didn't happen. It was actually supposed to happen this weekend. Evo is now online. East Coast Throwdown not happening now, so everyone's kind of got their eyes on Celtic Throwdown based in Ireland. So hopefully that means I will be over there doing a new job for it. I do have some other stuff in the pipeline right now that I can't necessarily talk about, but information will be coming out about it next week or the week after. But it's some really interesting stuff commentating and work-wise. It's been a completely different field and view, and as someone who's come from more of a casual perspective to a competitive perspective and a commentator, there's always there's so many different perspectives and ways and different fans of the Mortal Kombat series and universe of how they approach and somewhat appreciate the franchise as a whole. It's always something very, very interesting to look at from, depending on which side of the desk you're on, or even if you're behind a monitor. It's always new every time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of different roles for Mortal Kombat fans to fill, and some of them are professional roles, of course. And obviously, you're a man of many hats, doing the commentating and everything else that you're doing. So that's really cool, man. Kudos to you for being able to make that jump.
No, thank you. It has been very fun. It's been very, very fun.
And it's not really a jump because it's not like you left one to do the other. You get to do both.
Yeah, it's the beauty of having it be freelance as well. So the content and the channel will always be there. It just means that there's a little bit more of me on the Pro League as well. Hopefully in due time and course, when COVID-19 dies and I'm able to hopefully land bigger jobs later this year or maybe even next year. We don't know just yet. Could be going out to some more US tournaments and commentating them, as well as probably participating in some, which will be quite fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, that'll be great to have you come back out to the States.
For sure.
And
for sure.
hopefully I'll be at one of those events. So, keep me posted.
Yeah.
Let me know where you'll be. I'll try and fly up there and meet you.
Oh, absolutely.
I know next year if this does die out, that I am definitely doing Combo Breaker again, as I want to meet Fatal Cade. I want to see Ulterior again. Me and him actually have been talking a lot about some collaborations and whatnot. So I know we have that, and I just want to see everything again. So basically, Galloping Ghost Arcade, that tournament with U History, True Underdog, and I think we were also with Blind Vigilante. We got a couple pictures with Ketchup and Mustard. Like, that shit was awesome.
Yeah, it was really nice. I'm pretty sure at the moment everyone has their eyes on Combo Breaker 2021.
Yeah. And
because I will definitely be attending that one next year, and I will be attending whatever Final Combat will be happening next year. So those two I'm definitely going to do without a question.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not too hard for me to get it. Like, I just for me it's always been like, it's just like, I never had the time to do it, and I never had the funds to do it, and now that I do, it's more of, well, let's fucking do it. Well, we can't because shit happened, but I know next year I'll definitely be able to go, and the shit that's coming up this year is really, really going to be awesome. So, like, I know my 5-year anniversary is coming up. I know we're doing another episode of Mortal Monday next week regarding Aftermath. We'll replay everything and then just do basically our thoughts and everything on it. I think I'm gonna be starting a new series soon. It won't be like next week soon, but probably maybe 3 months probably from now. History, you and I have the story rewrite, which I think that's honestly going to be one of the biggest fucking things, because just the fact of, like, your idea and then my idea, it's just absolutely fucking crazy on, like, how different our stories, like, diverged for our podcast. So if anybody doesn't know, the podcast will be me, History, and one of the people from the Infinite Ammo Syndicate server, and it's going to be basically us rewriting what we wanted Mortal Kombat 11 to be. Of course, you'll have a lot of people that hate Mortal Kombat 11 story, that don't like some of the changes that they've done, but never write out an actual story for it. So with what me and History are doing is we're going totally different paths. I'm going to write a story without Chronica and be more in line with the original timeline. And History, if you would basically give a synopsis of your story.
I don't want to say too much right now. It's really out there, and it's really something that I think would be so goddamn cool and a great way of basically paying homage to the past, the future, and the present at the same time. So I'm not going to say anything more than that for the time being, but it's a really out there idea that could really benefit the series as a whole in every sense.
Yeah, so like I know I got that stuff going on. Tabmok, do you have anything coming up that you want to tell people about?
Well, I've definitely got some lore videos planned. I want to do one about some really obscure Mortal Kombat comics that are out there that most people have probably never even heard of, but they do exist and they were printed. So that's going to be, and I have most of them in my collection, so I'm going to be able to show some of those off. I also have a lore video about Kitana, and I think I'm even going to follow that up with one about Melina. So I've got a lot of stuff going on in my head. It's just a matter of putting all my research together and, making it into an actual watchable video. And of course, you can always catch me on Fatal Friday on the Mortal Kombat Online Twitch channel. I always do what's called a Tabmok99 Lore Minute. So it's like there's a tournament, there's like a King of the Hill tournament, and last week somebody got 26 wins in a row.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, insane. So, if you're ever up to it, if you're ever up at that crazy hour of the day, and you want to hop in there and see if you can dethrone somebody, I would love to see you, History, or even you, Survived Combatants, kind of get in there and see if you can take somebody out and maybe claim the new title of champion for yourself. But every week I do a Tabmok99 Lore Minute, and it's kind of a parody of the Lore Minutes from the official NetherRealm live streams. And I'll make one for whoever the winning character is. And this week, I'm going to have to do one on the Joker, so that ought to be fun. That's the first time I'm doing a Lore Minute on a guest.
Now, do you know what console? Because, of course, Fatal K does it by, or seasons by consoles. So.
Right. Yes, he's in the middle of an Xbox season. So if you have an Xbox, now's your time to join in. If not, just wait a few more weeks and he'll get into the PlayStation 4 season again.
History, do you have any announcements you would like to make?
Nothing right nowish. I suppose I'm in the process of working on a RoboCop video to come out tomorrow on Aftermath's release as well. There will be a bunch of extra stuff with the channel regarding Aftermath, with the arcade and the story. I'll be looking at it from more of an analytical eye by the end of this weekend. I'm very, very busy this weekend. I say this week in general, because of course there's Aftermath tomorrow. Then Friday, I have a tournament which is Lockdown Throwdown 2. Saturday, I'm pretty sure I have something going on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure what it is right now. Sunday will be another podcast, and of course I'll be back here on Monday for another podcast. But yeah, I think that's it for the time being. I just have my hands full with a fair bit of work right now.
Okay. And yeah, I just, like I said, I've already said all my future projects. Like I said, probably new series within the next 3 months. The podcast with you and me, History. We have the next Mortal Monday, which, if you can, we'll gladly let you join in, History, as a guest again. What else is it? I can't think of any other one off the top of my head. I'm trying to get a stream scheduled together, so that'll be happening pretty fucking soon. So yeah, I guess that's it for this Mortal Monday. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was a wonderful episode, especially with you two boys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for doing this. I'm really glad that I got a chance to do something with you, History Behind the Warrior. I've been looking forward to doing something. I didn't know what. And thank you so much, Survived Combatants, for bringing this all together and making this a reality. And I do have one more thing I need to thank you for, by the way. You had recommended to me a gaming desk, so I looked into it and I got it. and it's freaking awesome. I love
you
it.
Like it? Yeah, it's this.
It's increased my productivity by 350%.
Dude, this thing, if you actually saw how my setup is, it literally has, it fits everything. It fits my monitor, it fits my speakers, my keyboard, my mouse. Of course, everybody, if you don't know, my entire thing's a fucking Razer setup except for my monitor at this point. So like, it's a really good desk. I really, really like it. It's
yeah, well, I'm really glad you recommended to it. I mean, even the cable management system, I just feel like everything is just so much better.
Yeah. It's I hope like for Mortal Monday, as we kind of like ran through all the games, hopefully this will just be a podcast just basically on, you know, discussions just Mortal Kombat. Like I said, I'm eyeing the Realm cast, probably a couple guys from the Nether cast. I definitely want to have Fatal Kate on again. I want to have you, History especially. Just different people from the Mortal Kombat community just jump in, and as you know, Mortal Kombat's getting more and more, you know, getting more and more content recently. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really, really good. So I guess thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you later, my fellow combatants.
Hey, take it easy, guys.
See ya.